Welcome to the Young and the Restless Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On the Young and the Restless today, it was a case of how soon they forget for Phyllis and Amanda. Phyllis's short-term memory erased all that Amanda did for her to get her to the exclusive party in the French Riviera, and that she wouldn't even be there without her help. But on top of that, the first chance Phyllis had to talk to Cain, she basically threw Amanda under the bus by revealing that they had talked about working together. A rather shocking slip to Cain, who thought Amanda's sole focus was to work with him. The last thing Amanda needed was her boss thinking she had divided loyalties. But Phyllis was just so thrilled to be able to be in Cain's face, she didn't think about how her carelessness would affect Amanda. And because she's Phyllis, she didn't think that Amanda would still be upset when she saw her for breakfast. But there was no need to let a pesky thing like empathy get in the way of her needs, so Phyllis chose to blackmail her only friend other than Sharon moments later. Not that it resonated on Red, but hearing Amanda call her the most narcissistic, unself-aware human being that she had ever known cracked us up. But Amanda then got her revenge, watching Phyllis being grilled by Cain on what she was willing to betray to be on Team Ashby. For the curious, her answer was everyone. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full Y&R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not. Seriously, do not! Forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Y&R spoiler alert. Here are your teasers for The Young and the Restless for the week of Monday, July 7th to Friday, July 11th, 25. Be sure to tune in to CBS every weekday to see how everything plays out in Genoa City. Victor seizes an opportunity to strike back. Phyllis pursues Cain. Audra receives mixed signals from Kyle. Victoria is comforted by someone from her past. Mariah and Tessa ponder their future. Danny preps to make a big decision. Jack gives Billy an ultimatum. Nick and Sharon team up to help Phyllis. Danny pops the question to Christine. Lily makes a bold move. Victoria makes a painful decision. Clare leans on Holden. Kyle and Audra fight temptation. Adam schemes with Chelsea. July 3rd, Elizabeth Hendrickson. July 8th, Valerie Pettiford. July 10th, Lily Brooks. O'Brien. July 13th, Haley Aaron. July 15th, Michelle Morgan. July 29th, Kate Fairbanks. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Victoria Newman will need someone to mend her broken heart. So let's talk about her next romantic path after the crushing loss of Cole Howard. In the July 3rd episode, Cole took his last breath after one final kiss with Victoria. It was a heartbreaking moment that Victoria will carry with her always. Victoria got a second chance at love with Cole, but it ended up being far too brief. Cole, Victoria, and Clare Newman certainly didn't get enough time to bond as a family, but at least they made some special memories along the way. Of course, Victoria will need some time to grieve following Cole's demise. It won't be easy to work through the pain and find a way forward, but Victoria will get there eventually. With that in mind, it never hurts to go ahead and think about Victoria's next romantic path. Even after someone faces a grim fate on a soap, it usually doesn't take long for the partner they left behind to move on. The upside of losing Cole is that it'll open up some new story opportunities for Victoria. Cole and Victoria's reunion was nice enough, but they weren't exactly a sizzling couple with a lot going on. Now Victoria could be paired up with someone else and get back into some more exciting stories again. The question is, will Victoria fall for someone new? Or perhaps someone familiar? It's possible Victoria could hook up with someone like Holden Novak since he's such a flirt. We could even imagine Cain Ashby pushing Holden in Victoria's direction as part of his Newman-related agenda. It'd be interesting to see Clare Newman's reaction to that, since she's formed a bond of her own with Holden. Could Y&R set the stage for a mother-daughter love triangle somewhere down the line? On the other hand, Victoria has already been reconnecting with Nate Hastings, who might be single soon since Audra Charles seems destined to ruin their relationship. Nate will no doubt comfort Victoria in the aftermath of Cole's passing, so that could strengthen their friendship and take them back into romantic territory sooner or later. It's even possible the show could revisit Victoria's relationship with Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, if his own romance with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, blows up. Regardless, Y&R fans will be eager to see what road Victoria heads down after all the Cole devastation. Once Victoria goes through a mourning period, someone may capture her heart and give her a new path to happiness. The Young and the Restless preview for the week of July 7th reveals Tessa Porter will take out her fury on Mariah Copeland. Also coming up, Cain Ashby will spot Lily Winters kissing Damian Cain. Plus, Danny Romalotti will prepare to propose to Christine Blair, and Audra Charles will pull out all the stops. Y&I? Spoilers tease, Audra will discuss the perfume battle with Kyle Abbott in her room while wearing a flimsy robe over her bra and panties. Kyle will suggest they continue their conversation in the dining area. "Oh, you don't have to wait outside," Audra tells Kyle in the Y&R Weekly preview. "I'll just change here." Then she'll proceed to turn around, giving him a view of her derriere as she proceeds to remove her robe. But will Kyle stay strong or give in to temptation? In the maze, Damian will tell Lily he understands why Cain wants to win her back. However, she'll say she needs something new. "And I'm not going to be held back in my life anymore." They'll kiss, and Cain will come around the corner and look heartbroken and angry. Meanwhile, Danny will tell Daniel Romalotti he's got surprise planned for he and Christine. "Tonight's the night. I'm going to ask her to marry me." He'll take her to society and toast to their past and their future. But will Christine say yes? Finally, Mariah will tell Tessa she knows she's furious, and she gets it. "Well, that is so great, that you have the opportunity to understand what I'm feeling," Tessa will reply, "when I have no idea what's going on with you." The Young and the Restless spoilers preview video for the week of July 7-11 reveals that Audra Charles will strip down for Kyle Abbott. Cain Ashby will also spy Lily Winters in a sizzling moment with Damian Cain. So let's talk about the drama that's brewing. First, Audra will push Kyle to help her brainstorm some ideas for the 2.0 version of their feud. Since Audra will still be wearing something skimpy that she slept in, Kyle will push her to get dressed so they can talk in the dining area over lunch. Kyle will get up to leave Audra's train car, but she'll insist that's not necessary since she can just change with him there. Y&R's weekly promo shows Audra stripping down in front of Kyle, who stands there gawking at his former flame in her underwear. Back in Genoa City, Daniel Romalotti Jr. will have a conversation with Danny Romalotti about a surprise for Christine Blair. Danny will insist that tonight is the night and play up how he's going to ask Christine to marry him. Later, Danny will treat Christine to a magical evening at society, where he'll toast to their connection, past and future. It'll pave the way for Danny to pop the question, so all signs point to Christine saying yes to their engagement soon. In the park, Mariah Copeland will meet up with a livid Tessa Porter and acknowledge that she gets why her wife is so furious. "Well, that is just so great that you have the opportunity to understand what I am feeling when I have no idea what's going on with you," Tessa shouts in the preview video. Tessa then suggests that maybe they should make their separation permanent, so she'll consider divorcing Mariah as their marriage issues get worse. In Nice again, Damian will admit to Lily that he can't blame Cain for pulling out all the stops to win her back, but she'll insist she needs something new instead. After Lily surrenders to a hot kiss with Damian, Cain will appear nearby and look stunned at the sight of them sizzling together. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, July 7th, reveal that Diane Jenkins Abbott seems poised to make an alarming discovery, while Kyle Abbott stays in the dark on Clare Newman's crisis. Jack Abbott's enemies will also be rising, so there'll be a lot happening on the CBS soap. As the festivities continue in Nice, Kyle will pay a visit to Audra's train car, where she'll carry out a little seductive stunt. Since Kyle will think they should move their brainstorming session to the dining area, he'll want to meet up with Audra once she's changed out of her sleepwear. Audra will have other plans and will end up parading around in her undies right in front of Kyle. Although Kyle will know Audra's playing games, he may be a little turned on anyway. Regardless, you can bet that Diane will continue to monitor Kyle and Audra's growing connection. Kyle has assured Diane that he's got everything under control, but Diane may not be so sure, especially if she gets updates on Audra's latest seduction attempt. Diane may discover that they've been alone together with Audra wearing next to nothing and sound the alarm. Y&R spoilers say this could turn into a slippery slope Kyle if he's not careful. Of course, until Kyle can get cell service back, he'll stay in the dark on Claire's struggles back home. Claire is dealing with the loss of Cole Howard, but she hasn't been able to get that terrible news to Kyle just yet. As for Jack Abbott, he may sense that more trouble is brewing for Jabot. Victor Newman has already been targeting Jack's family business, but Jack may soon realize Cain could be a problem too. It's easy to imagine Victor pushing Jack's buttons over his possible alliance with Cain. Victor may try to get under Jack's skin and make him worry about a partnership that'll be his downfall. However, Cain is a threat to both Victor and Jack. At least he considers himself one. Since Cain wants to snatch up all the major GC business for himself, Jack and Victor will need to watch their backs. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Claire Newman may kiss Holden Novak while Kyle Abbott is doing far worse with Audra Charles. Is a double betrayal episode coming up on the CBS soap? On July 11th, Claire will be struggling with some intense grief. Losing Cole Howard will really shake Claire up and leave her desperate for some comfort. Of course, Kyle will still be in Nice, where there's been no cell service at all. Claire will feel isolated and will turn to Holden for the support she's craving. Holden will be Claire's lifeboat in the sea of sorrow she's trying to navigate. It's easy to see how Claire might get swept up in the moment and share a kiss with him just to find a little relief. Naturally, Claire could pull away and apologize profusely soon after. We might see Claire freak out over betraying Kyle, but he could be committing a far worse betrayal as his storyline in France continues. The July 11th episode will also bring rising temptation for Kyle and Audra. So will this be when they finally cave in and do something about it? Could Audra and Kyle surrender in the bedroom while this potential Claire and Holden kiss is playing out? If so, that could put Kyle in a tight spot once he comes home. Kyle may get updates on some stunning news and have a hard time with what comes next. Claire might confess her lip lock with Holden and beg Kyle's forgiveness. Perhaps Claire could insist it was just a grief-driven mistake and swear it'll never happen again. Kyle might be awfully quick to forgive and forget if he's slept with Audra by then. It'd be interesting to see Claire feeling guilty over a measly kiss while Kyle's hiding a full-blown night of passion. Regardless, it sounds like Y&R's July 11th episode will be an important one for both Kyle and Claire. This could lead to some bold moves that'll affect Claire and Kyle's relationship in a big way. The Young and the Restless is heating up as the week of July 7th brings a wave of passion, betrayal, and emotional turmoil. Fans can expect explosive developments involving Audra, Kyle, Tessa, Mariah, and more, as secrets simmer and relationships reach breaking points. Audra Charles is making bold moves this week as she ramps up her scheme to secure funding for her new venture, Vibrante. With Victor Newman backing her and closely watching her every move, Audra's main mission remains clear: break up Kyle and Claire. Victor has facilitated a getaway to France for Kyle and Audra, supposedly to give her space from Nate and Claire. However, not everyone is convinced. Diane Jenkins Abbott is keeping a wary eye on Audra, suspecting she's targeting Kyle for ulterior motives, and she's not wrong. Adding to the tension, Damian Cain confronts Audra, warning her not to hurt his brother Nate, further intensifying the pressure on her. Despite this, Audra successfully manipulates Kyle into a secluded moment aboard a rail car. Dressed provocatively in a blue bra and silky shorts, she tries to brainstorm their fictional perfume feud between Jabu and her yet-to-be-launched brand. While Kyle initially resists, Audra's seductive theatrics blur the lines, leaving Kyle visibly stunned and possibly tempted. But this seduction might be a trap. Audra's goal isn't necessarily to win Kyle back, but to create the illusion of infidelity to damage his relationship with Clare. If Diane, Damien, or Victor were to catch them in a compromising position, the fallout could be devastating for everyone involved. Elsewhere, heartbreak looms as Mariah Copeland and Tessa Porter's marriage continues to unravel. A tense confrontation in the park reveals deep cracks in their relationship. Mariah admits she's at fault and acknowledges Tessa's anger, but still refuses to confess her mysterious wrongdoing, something she hints is worse than a one-night stand. Tessa, at her breaking point, lashes out, declaring that Mariah has no idea how she truly feels. She even suggests they make their separation permanent. With Mariah refusing to open up and having already moved out, Tessa seems done waiting for the truth. Daniel has offered to mediate, but Tessa declined, signaling that her patience has run out. There's growing speculation that Daniel may become more than just a friend to Tessa, especially if a divorce becomes inevitable. This emotional triangle could soon take a surprising turn. In lighter news, Daniel Romalotti receives a heartfelt update from his father, Danny, who is ready to propose to longtime love Christine Williams. Though the engagement may not steal the spotlight from the week's more dramatic storylines, fans of the Cricket and Danny pairing can look forward to a romantic moment of reconnection. Christine is expected to say yes, adding a sweet note amidst the surrounding chaos. Luckily for them, Phyllis appears too preoccupied with her new alliance with Cain and her plans to undermine Jack, Nick, and Billy to focus on her ex's engagement. Back in France, another romantic showdown is brewing. Lily tells Damon she's ready to move forward with her life and won't let the past hold her back. This leads to a passionate kiss between the two. Just as Cain walks in, Damon's feelings for Lily have been clear for some time, and now, with this kiss, he's solidified his place on Cain's growing list of rivals. Given Cain's complicated history with Lily and his absence from her life, it's questionable why he thought he still had a chance. The confrontation is bound to escalate. This upcoming week on The Young and the Restless promises high-stakes tension, emotional confrontations, and unexpected romantic twists. As relationships are tested and secrets threaten to explode, viewers can expect some of the most compelling drama yet. Whether it's Audra's manipulations, Mariah and Tessa's possible split, or Cain's heartbreak in France, one thing is certain: Genoa City is far from peaceful. In a heartbreaking turn of events on The Young and the Restless, Cole Howard has passed away, leaving his daughter Clare Newman devastated and emotionally adrift. As fans mourn the loss, the storyline takes a darker twist. Claire's grief may open the door for Holden Novak to manipulate her for his own agenda. This week's episodes delivered an emotional blow to viewers as Cole Howard succumbed to Legionnaire's disease, a severe type of pneumonia. Though treatable in most cases, Cole's condition proved resistant to medication. Realizing his time was running out, Cole returned to Genoa City to say his final goodbyes. In a deeply emotional moment, he called for Victoria and Clare to be by his side. Clare, who had only recently reconnected with her father after being kidnapped as an infant and raised by her disturbed great-aunt Jordan, was shattered. Overwhelmed, she fled the hospital in tears, missing her father's final breath. Victoria remained and shared a tender goodbye with Cole before he passed away, an event scheduled to air on Thursday. For Clare, the loss is almost unbearable. She had only just begun building a relationship with her parents, and now, the chance for a future together has been cruelly ripped away. Amid Clare's heartbreak, Holden Novak sees an opportunity. Under orders from his mysterious boss, Cain Ashby, Holden has been targeting Clare. With her boyfriend, Kyle Abbott, conveniently stuck in France and unreachable, Clare is more isolated than ever, making her a prime target for emotional manipulation. Holden has already taken steps to insert himself into Clare's life. During a recent emotional episode in the park, Holden comforted Clare during a panic attack. They later shared drinks, and the groundwork for a deeper connection, however insincere, was laid. While Holden may harbor some friendly feelings toward Clare, His loyalty lies with Cain, and his motivations remain suspect. The possibility looms that he might take advantage of Clare's fragile emotional state, especially with alcohol and grief clouding her judgment. Elsewhere, Holden's attempt to charm another target, Chelsea Lawson, failed spectacularly. Chelsea spotted him with Cain at Crimson Lights and quickly realized something wasn't right. A former con artist herself, she saw through his lies and rejected any false friendship he tried to initiate. Her keen instincts may protect her, but Clare doesn't have the same defenses right now. With Kyle unavailable, Clare's loneliness intensifies. As she reels from the loss of her father, the chances of her turning to Holden for comfort increase. There is speculation that a drunken night could lead to a compromising situation, perhaps even a one-night stand. If Clare assumes something happened with Holden, whether true or not, the guilt may push her to confess to Kyle, threatening their relationship. This potential moment of weakness could be exactly what Cain and Holden are hoping for. Whether their ultimate goal is to recruit Clare or destroy her emotionally remains unclear. Either way, the stakes are rising as Genoa City becomes the backdrop for a psychological chess match. As The Young and the Restless continues to unfold, Clare's storyline is one of the most emotionally charged and precarious. Her grief makes her vulnerable, but her complicated past hints that she's not defenseless. Should she discover that Holden manipulated her during her lowest moment, there's no telling what she might do in retaliation. With Cain's war against Victor Newman simmering in the background, Clare's emotional unraveling may only be the beginning of a much larger plan. Fans will be watching closely to see whether she falls into Holden's trap or turns the tables on him and Cain. Port Charles. The seaside town is reeling this week after the tragic death of Natalia, a loss that has sent shockwaves through the community and ignited a dangerous quest for justice. What was initially reported as a heartbreaking overdose is now being investigated as a cold-blooded murder, leaving Natalia's devastated son, Marco, pointing a finger of blame directly at the city's most powerful figure, Sonny Corinthos. The Port Charles Police Department confirmed the stunning reversal after the medical examiner's report revealed signs of foul play. The conclusion was clear. Natalia's death was a carefully orchestrated homicide, disguised to look like a tragic accident involving pills and alcohol. For her son, Marco, the news transformed his profound grief into a searing rage. The woman who was a warrior who sacrificed everything for her family was stolen from us, a source close to Marco stated. He won't rest until the person responsible pays. Supported by his devoted boyfriend, Lucas, Marco has begun his own investigation into his mother's final days. His sorrow has been replaced by an obsession to uncover the truth, a truth he believes lies buried in Natalia's complicated and strained history with Sonny Corinthos. While Marco doesn't believe Sonny directly committed the act, he is convinced the mob boss's actions and the enemies he keeps created the deadly circumstances that led to her murder. This conviction is bolstered by the discovery that Natalia was secretly planning to leave Port Charles for good just before she was killed. Was she running from something or someone? The situation has become a powder keg of suspicion, complicated by Marco's own recent actions. He was hailed a hero for rescuing Christina Corinthos from a fire at Charlie's pub. However, his timely appearance has only deepened Sonny's and Jason Morgan's distrust. Their wariness stems from Marco's lineage as the son of the notorious John Jagger Cates, making them suspect Marco is not a hero, but a plant in a larger, more sinister game. With Marco and Lucas digging into Natalia's secrets, and Sonny and Jason investigating Marco, Port Charles has become a chessboard of deadly intrigue. Marco's hunt for justice has set him on a collision course with the Corinthos organization. As he untangles a web of deceit and betrayal, one thing is certain: the truth behind Natalia's death will not stay buried for long, and when it surfaces, it could bring the entire city to its knees. Young and the Restless saw Cole Howard dies this week, tragically, and that leaves Clare Grace Newman totally devastated and ripe for Holden Novak's scheme. Let's get into how Cole's death is the perfect chance for Holden to get even closer to Clare Grace Newman. If you are current on your episodes, you know that Cole Howard, Clare Grace Newman's father, is battling Legionnaire's disease, which is a serious form of pneumonia. It's very curable in real life, but Cole Howard's case didn't respond to antibiotics, so he came back to Genoa City to die. After the hospital called Clare Grace Newman and Victoria Newman and said, "Get down here ASAP," they rushed in. Cole Howard told them he was about to die and wanted to say goodbye to the love of his life and his daughter. Clare was so sad. She talked about not having enough time with Cole Howard and how much she wished for a father when she was little and growing up. But all she had was her psycho great-aunt Jordan Howard. Clare Grace Newman is so upset by the idea of Cole Howard dying that she runs out of the room in tears. She misses his actual death. Cole Howard tells Victoria Newman goodbye, and of course, she's crushed. They share a last kiss, and then Cole Howard passes away on Young and the Restless. That happens on Thursday this week. Of course, Clare is upset with herself that she didn't stick around to see Cole take his last breath. This was hard because Clare Grace Newman never knew her parents growing up. Crazy Jordan kidnapped her as an infant, but Victoria Newman and Cole Howard were making up for lost time with Clare Grace Newman and also with each other. They had rekindled their romance after so many years apart. Victoria Newman and Clare both thought they were going to have so much more time with Cole Howard. A lifetime. So, understandably, Clare is falling apart at the seams. Meanwhile, Holden Novak has gotten marching orders from Cain Ashby to target her among others. When Holden told Cain Ashby how close he'd already gotten to Clare Grace Newman, his boss was super excited about that. Cain Ashby is going to be excited because Holden Novak has got a target on her. Clare is really sad, twice as sad because she needs her boyfriend Kyle Abbott there to lean on. But thanks to Cain, we've got Kyle Abbott stuck over in France with no cell service. Clare can't reach him, she can't text him, nothing. She needs Kyle so much right now. Clare is going to leave him a pitiful, sad voicemail, but who knows when he will get it. I suspect this is all perfect timing for Holden Novak, who may take full advantage of Clare's grief. Also this week, Holden Novak makes a move on another target that Cain Ashby gave him, Chelsea Lawson Newman, but Holden is not going to make any progress with her. It turns out Chelsea Lawson Newman did see him with Cain Ashby at Crimson Lights. It looks like she didn't know, but she did. Chelsea thinks that Holden Novak is working her, and she's figured it all out. Holden Novak lied to Chelsea and tries to cover. But as a former con woman, Chelsea Lawson Newman knows a lie when she hears it. So Holden doesn't stand a chance of forming any sort of fake friendship with Adam Newman's lover. But Clare Grace Newman needs somebody right now. She's an easier mark. She needs a shoulder to cry on. If you remember the other day, Clare Grace Newman was in the park and so upset about her dad Cole Howard's health crisis that she was having a panic attack. Guess who was there to talk her down? It was Holden Novak. They went for drinks and talked it out. Miko would break here. So Clare's going to be out somewhere, probably having another grief breakdown. Holden Novak may be in a position to be there for Clare again, be that shoulder to cry on that she needs now. I do think Holden Novak sincerely likes Clare as a friend, because Holden was friendly with her even before Cain Ashby told him to be a little flirty, but really more of a friendly vibe. Holden really wants to please Cain Ashby. He wants to keep those big fat paychecks rolling in. So, unfortunately, I think Holden Novak will do whatever is necessary to get Cain the results he wants. I am not getting a romantic vibe between Holden Novak and Clare because he's still kind of fixated on Audra Charles. However, that doesn't mean Holden wouldn't take advantage of a situation with Clare Grace Newman. I could see her grieving and then sharing drinks at the GSA. Holden Novak should drink there for free since he arranged the purchase of it for Cain Ashby in secret. If you remember, Holden dislikes Kyle Abbott, and he's jealous of him because of his past with Audra Charles. Holden Novak would obviously like to have Audra Charles to himself, but he also knows if she and Nate Hastings broke up, Audra might just make a play to get back with Kyle Abbott. So Holden Novak may be hanging out with Clare when she's upset, drinking while thinking about her poor, tragically dead father. She gets a little drunk, tipsy drunk, something in there. On top of the grief, Holden Novak takes advantage and winds up in bed with Clare Grace Newman in Holden's room at the GCAC. Something like that. I could see something like that happening. Heck, Clare might wake up half-dressed in bed with Holden Novak and assume the worst. and he lets her assume it. Let's be real. It'd be really awful if Clare got drunk and Holden Novak had sex with her when she couldn't consent. Now if they both got drunk together and Clare Grace Newman and Holden Novak had a messy, boozy one-night stand where neither was consenting, that's messy. But it's different than if Clare's drunk and Holden was sober and targeting her, which would be utterly despicable. But I do think he's kind of awful, so maybe don't count that out. He knows Kyle Abbott is out of the country, so Holden Novak may comfort Clare, be that someone she needs at her low point, and things get out of hand. Holden might not even have to take advantage. Clare could cross a line with Holden because she's so upset and Kyle isn't there. It's pretty common for people to hook up after a loved one dies or after a funeral. It's a life-affirming thing, according to psychologists. Kyle Abbott is not around, so Holden might be the next best thing because Clare Grace Newman is not thinking clearly because of the grief. You pour a little alcohol on that, and you get a bonfire. So if Holden gets Clare into bed one way or another, whether they do the deed or not, if Clare assumes they did, she'd feel guilty. She might confess to Kyle Abbott, come clean, which would set the groundwork for a breakup. We've also got summer spoilers for Audra Charles having old feelings bubbling up again, and that could be about Kyle Abbott, since she seems totally turned off by Holden Novak. So wait to see. If Clare Grace Newman winds up in bed with Holden Novak, you never know. Cain Ashby might give Holden a bonus. It's not entirely clear yet if Cain wants Holden Novak to get close to the people on the list to recruit them as allies, or set the stage to blow up their lives as collateral damage in the coming war of Cain versus Victor Newman. We'll see how it all plays out. I feel like Clare's grief could make her an easy target, but she's also got a wicked streak because of her crazy aunt and how she was raised. If she found out Holden played her, he and Cain might need to watch their backs. No telling what Clare might do for revenge. Next week on The Young and the Restless, Cain does a disappearing act. Here's a look ahead at the episodes we'll see from June 30th to Friday, July 4th, 2025. On The Young and the Restless, us to see many of the Genoa City elite have been told they are stuck at Aristotle Dumas' estate in Nice, France, with no way to leave. A big storm blew through the French Riviera the night that Cain Ashby revealed himself. Because of the storm, Cain told his guests that the railroad track and the roadway had been washed out and needed repairs. Until that happened, there was no way for them to leave. However, none would be too surprised to know that Cain has more secrets, the main one being that there actually is a way out, and he plans to use it. When Chance revealed to Abby and Devon that Cain was concerned that someone could try to kill him, Abby guessed that Cain was trying to create a distraction for some other self-serving reason. She may have been right. Next week, Cain leaves the estate to go to Genoa City, where he meets with Holden. Holden told Clare last week that he had been working for a real estate company, and Adam knows that someone is buying up property all over downtown Genoa City. Was Holden buying them on behalf of Cain, or the other way around? Meanwhile, back in Nice, Amanda is left to manage the guests. Devon wants answers, but his past with Amanda isn't scoring him any points on getting her to reveal Cain's real plans. As for Clare, she and Victoria felt better after Nate explained there was hope for Cole's Legionnaire's disease prognosis. But is there? They returned to his bedside at the hospital in Chicago, only for him to tell them that they got there just in time to say goodbye. The emotional landscape of The Young and the Restless is set to explode as the intricate web of love, betrayal, and heartbreak tightens around Clare Grace. Still reeling from the recent death of her father, Cole Howard, Clare now faces a life-altering crisis that threatens to shatter her already fragile world, a secret pregnancy with an unknown father. The catalyst for this downward spiral was Kyle Abbott's devastating betrayal. Clare, believing she had found a stable and devoted partner, was crushed to discover his intimate affair with the seductive Audra Charles. The realization that the man she loved did not share her devotion sent her reeling. In a moment of grief-stricken vulnerability, she found comfort in the arms of another man, Holden, whose own complicated past provided a temporary escape from her pain. Now, Clare is pregnant, trapped in a nightmare of uncertainty. The child she carries could belong to either Kyle, the man who broke her heart, or Holden, the man who offered a fleeting solace. Paralyzed by fear, Clare believes revealing the truth would be a catastrophe. She is convinced that both Kyle, stung by his own guilt and her subsequent actions, and Holden, a man of unclear motives, would deny the child, leaving her to face public shame and single motherhood. This terrifying prospect forces her into a desperate silence, bearing the crushing weight of her secret alone. Meanwhile, the other players in this drama are not idle. Kyle remains deeply conflicted, torn between a lingering, genuine love for Clare and an undeniable physical pull towards Audra, who continues her bold seduction attempts, even greeting him in lingerie to disrupt his composure. Watching from the wings is Kyle's ever-scheming mother, Diane Jenkins. Deeply concerned by Kyle's entanglement with Audra, Diane is keeping a close watch, determined to protect her son's future, preferably with Clare, and ready to intervene to ensure her own vision comes to pass. Clare stands at a crossroads, facing a decision that will have permanent consequences. Will she risk it all by revealing the truth, hoping for redemption but bracing for rejection? Or will she protect her secret, hoping to buy time while living in a prison of her own making? How long can this secret stay buried in a town where betrayal is currency? And when the truth inevitably erupts, who will be left standing in the fallout? One thing is certain: Clare's journey of self-discovery and accountability is just beginning, and the road ahead is paved with turmoil. A change in career could be in Nate's future. Like many of the young and the restless characters, Nate is part of the corporate world. However, he hasn't forgotten his first passion, medicine. Recent developments in Nate's life might have him switching careers again. When Nate returned to Genoa City in 2018, he was a world-renowned doctor. Like his mom, Olivia, Nate became the go-to person for treating Genoa City residents. However, Nate gave up his medical career after a fight with Devon left him with a hand injury. After his injury, Nate did what many Y&R characters do and joined the business world. He quickly became a player in the corporate world, first with Newman, and then joining Winters, his family's company. Yet, recently, Nate's been getting the itch to get back into medicine. First, he referred Amy to an oncologist to treat her cancer, which is in remission. Then Nate offered support to Clare and Victoria, who were worried about Cole's diagnosis. Later, when Nate and Victoria were alone, he admitted he missed being a doctor. From the sound of it, Nate might be gearing up for a return to the medical profession. And it's long overdue. Y&R is overrun with too many characters in the business world. The show needs to switch it up with people in other careers, and they're in need of a good doctor. Nate was one of Genoa City's best doctors, and he's more cut out for the hospital instead of a boardroom. Devon and Lily will be shocked by Nate's decision, but fans will be happy to see one less business person on Y&R. Looking back at their past can help them move together in the future. Tessa and Mariah are one of the golden couples on The Young and the Restless. For the past few years, they lived a quiet life as a typical married couple who were starting a family together. Their marriage got a shakeup with a shocking separation. However, this beloved couple wasn't always perfect. They had a rough start. Let's go back in time to July 4th, 2017, when Tessa and Mariah were with other people. Inside, they struggled with their feelings and questioned their sexuality. That kiss dubbed them the name Taraya and built up a dedicated fan base. Of course, it wasn't easy, as they were with other people. They kept their feelings for one another as a secret from everyone, even their respective partners. It had us wondering when they were finally going to give in to their obvious feelings for one another. Let's go back to the iconic 4th of July party at the pool bar. At the time, Mariah cozied up to Devon while Tessa was with Noah. Abby questioned Devon about his relationship, which made him defensive. Meanwhile, sparks were flying between Mariah and Tessa, even though no one could see it, not even them. Mariah asked Tessa what was wrong and learned that Noah wanted to slow down the relationship. Mariah comforted her. Later that night, Mariah confronted Noah and yelled at him for making Tessa question everything. She told him to open his eyes and recognize what he had. We wish we could go back to those days. Taraya and Mariah officially became a couple in August 2017. Mariah made the move, marking the beginning of a beautiful relationship. Of course, it hasn't been easy because of Tessa's dark past, but they were able to overcome their obstacles, even the moments when Mariah cheated, and Tessa's ex joined her on her road tour. Now, the two are headed for a breakup. It's all because of Mariah's secret, which she's been keeping from everyone. Something went down during her business trip. All we know is that she got drunk and got close to an older gentleman. Mariah can't share this secret because it could put her family at risk. It sounds like someone got murdered, which is why Mariah doesn't want this to be revealed. This secret could pull her family apart, but separating without telling her wife is even worse. They should take a look back at their past and all that they've overcome to see that they could move forward together. We need Mariah back together again. Hopefully, they'll be able to reconcile.